All right, thank you everyone. Welcome to the Bishop Gallery. On behalf of my business partner, Erwin John, I am Stevenson Dunn, and this is our Artist Talk. And today, our amazing artist all the way from New Zealand, by way of Queensland, Australia, Miss Alishia Falleni. And we're gonna talk to her about her exhibition here at the Bishop, A Version of Paradise. Welcome.
Thank you.
It's so great having you here, and really appreciate you, coming all this way and really choosing the Bishop Gallery to be the place that you decided to show this exhibition. I know you had a lot of options here in New York City, so really appreciate that. And we'll just kind of dive right in there. And what is A Version of Paradise? So what do you mean by that, and why do these pictures represent that to you?
So it took me a long time to come up with a name, but as you probably noticed, there's a bird in all of my pieces that I stencil onto my work, and that's the representation of what sets you free. And I sort of thought about it, and how do you word something that sets you free? And I feel like people feel freedom in their own world of paradise. So you could be doing anything, but it's that sense of where you are and what you're doing. So that's how I came up with The Version of Paradise.
And tell us a little more about the collection itself. These are taken from pictures that you took yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And what exactly are we looking at here? Where are these places? Where are these things happening? What is this?
So this was the last time I was in New York, and I was here for 3 weeks. So I'd always go adventuring, with being my partner, and he knows New York well. So when I got over here, and because I am from such a small country, as you know, and there's like hardly anybody that lives there, and like I said, there was a population of 30 people where I grew up, and then it sort of progressed from there. But New York, when I got here, I was just like, wow, this place is nuts. Like, there's just buildings everywhere and lights, and but then with the photos I took, because I have such a love for landscape and the beauty of the places that I grew up in, generally I'd take these photos at some time of the day where I thought, oh wow, the light's really beautiful right now. And like the train stations on sundown, and this one over here, I was looking at the sky and wandering around, and all of a sudden I just saw this cool industrial area that kind of, like, the opposites attract to me. It's like the pretty and the gritty, and I just loved it. It was so lived in, and I think they combine kind of really beautifully in a way. And like I said, there's so much charisma lying around New York. You can just see.
And then you say New York City, and of course it's the 5 boroughs is New York City, but most of these pictures are in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And in particular, the different places where you've lived or kind of congregated while you were here for your time. So many questions right now. So what made you want to depict these particular scenes? Are there anything, because I'm sure you took tons of pictures while you were here, right? So these particular scenes, let's, for example, the namesake piece of the show, A Version of Paradise, right? It's so interesting to me personally because I used to take that train every day. So I know exactly where that is, but what made you, you're from New Zealand, like why are you so connected to it?
Well, the subway, as you know, freaks me out a little bit. I never know where I'm going when I catch a subway. So I feel like I've got no sense of direction. And so yeah, it kind of blew my mind as well, seeing these trains everywhere that I don't normally see. And my dad really loves trains, so I guess he embedded that in my brain a little bit. And same with B, he loves trains too. But I just imagine that, and it's crazy because when I have talked to a lot of people on the opening night, like they also say, oh, I caught this train every day. And I could imagine that that is a big piece of people's lives. Like, that's why I wanted to paint it, because I know that when I look at a piece of, well, if I look at a picture that I grew up in and it's like my childhood, whether it's a tree you sat under or anything like that, you build a connection with it because it's a memory and it's something that you treasure when you look back on it. So I thought there must be a lot of people out there that would really connect with that scene. So I'm sort of painting it for myself, but I'm doing it for other people as well, because it's that whole message, you know, what sets you free, and I kind of want people to get lost in my art and remember things when they look at them and think about it. Yeah,
no,
yeah.
It's funny you say that, because that's exactly what it for me personally, taking the J train or the M train into the city over the bridge. Marcy's the last stop in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Or first stop in Brooklyn, depending on which way you're going.
Yeah.
Very nostalgic. Just in terms of color, your work is so vibrant. Tell us a little bit about, you know, how you kind of arrive at these unique and interesting color schemes.
Sometimes that's a surprise to me too. Like, I have the photo and then I start painting and then I just get immersed in my own, like, leashy land, I call it. And I put tunes on and I just, like, you know, tune out for a while and start painting. And sometimes I just arrive on a color and I look at it and I think, oh, I just really want to blow this out a little bit more. And I just feel like otherwise it's just another picture of something, because that's the beauty of being able to paint. You can create a world of however you want it to look. So I like that slightly animated feel, like I want them to look real so you get that connection, but I also I want to have a style and for something to kind of grab you and draw you in at the same time. And I feel like when you know, really brighten colours up, it kind of makes you feel happy, you know.
Definitely.
So yeah, that's how they come along. But I mean, I guess, you know, like I said, it's a surprise to me. Sometimes I start going in and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy, but I love it, you know.
And so something that I found very surprising is that your work looks so clean, but then when you were telling me about how you actually paint, it's very unorthodox. It's like almost extremely unorthodox. So tell us about some of the ways that you paint and some of the tools and materials that you use in painting your work. And maybe give us, if you don't mind, some insight into, you know, kind of how you create these textures and blends and all that with your funky materials.
Okay, so I probably use, in the paintings, it was about 5% brushwork to get it nice and smooth. But I also have a lot of old business cards that one of my clients gave me. So I would cut them up in all different sizes to get the clean lines. And I also use toothpicks a lot. I really love using toothpicks and sewing needles to get those fine little lines in all those tiny little buildings and those millions of windows that I had to paint.
Right. Oh,
It was
so
really hard to get them defined with a brush, and as you can see, I really like
the detail.
that crispy look. So yeah, and bits of rubber. I carved out rubber and all sorts of things.
What's
so yeah,
like the
mainly
weirdest
art.
thing you've painted with? What's like the most random object you've used to paint?
A sage stick.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Before or after you burned it?
I'll tell you afterwards. Because
It's like
they're
that.
also, they got that nice twig on them, and I ran out of toothpicks.
Which one did
day.
you use the sage stick on, or is it a different a collection?
Well, so I used the sage stick on this one here.
Okay, where did you use it?
So just on the little lamps on the edges there, because I ran out of toothpicks, and I'm a bit of a hippie at heart, so I saged my studio
I got
to
it.
give it a good vibe. So that was a good backup. And I actually, busted out the sage stick technique the other night to show my friends. So it's an ongoing thing now.
That's really cool. And that's where you get those texture on the end of those lamps.
Yes.
It's from the sage stick.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like the paint peeling off of them.
Yeah.
And you'll have like these patches of like metal and paint.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, oh, like to capture that nuance, it's like you took this train.
Yeah. And I'm in love with texture as well, and I feel like that brings so much life, and it almost makes the painting turn 3D, and you can make things jump out, and it's really cool in the sunlight and the light, and especially the one with the bricks down there, which I laid the paint really thick, and then dotted the bricks in with card. And I remember I did that one really late at night, and I had just one lamp on, I was turning all the lights off, and I got really excited because you could just see all the brickwork, and I was like, oh my gosh, it looks so cool at night. They look like they come to life then. So
yeah, like you one of the things that you get with the bricks, and tell us a little how you get there, is this like chipping of the paint that makes the bricks look more realistic.
Yeah.
And I'm like, does this just happen this way? Does she do this? Because this really looks like one of these buildings that we go by.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about how you do that? And
yeah, so I mix the oil really finely underneath, and then I wait like a day or two for it to dry, just touch dry, because the oil takes a good 5 months to dry, in its natural form. But so if you do that and then you layer the oil on top, it ends up cracking in areas. So that's why I did that on the buildings, because I know that makes it look nice and old, and it also brings it to life as well, because it's doing all that stuff naturally too. So I really like it when my work has cracks in it, because it does give it this cool element that it's done itself,
texture,
so,
right? That's
yeah.
And is that also the reason why you paint on wood?
No, I was thinking outside the box because I got really bored of canvas, and I just feel like, because it's on wood, then you've got this big piece of art there, and it's not only is it a painting, but it's got this earthiness to it as well, and I feel like they just look so good on their own. You can, even if you decided to frame that, it would still look cool, but they look really great. I feel it finishes off the piece really nicely, and it's just something different. I don't like to be the same. I'm always trying to create a new vibe with things.
And I think you definitely succeed in that. I think the finish is just beautiful. But the texture, I guess your texture painting on top of that extra layer of texture in the wood, they complement each other really, really well. And the craziest part to me is you've never spent a day in art school. Is it like, I didn't make that up, right? You never gone to school.
Yeah, no.
You're not formally trained, not even high school of the arts.
No.
And so when did you start painting, and like, how did you develop this enormous talent of yours?
I started painting, I really fell in love with it when I moved to the city, when I moved to Auckland City, which to me felt like I was moving to New York once again. And I really missed living at home. It was really hard for me because, I moved there when I was 16 and I didn't really know anyone, and it takes a while to connect with people when they have their own groups and all that stuff. So
16.
yeah, exactly. So I just painted like on the weekends. I'd paint scenes at home and I'd give them to people.
What did you paint?
I painted mainly where I'm from, Matarangi.
I'm sorry?
Matarangi.
Matarangi.
Yes, Matarangi Beach. So I'd mainly paint scenes of that. It's absolutely beautiful, that beach. And I would, my parents had this gallery of these old pieces of art because I'd, give them heaps of pieces, and a lot of people really loved them. I wouldn't sell them, but then my clients, because I'm a hairdresser, saw my work because they were just like, so what did you do on the weekend? And I was like, oh, I did this, and and then they were like, my gosh, can I buy one off you? And so I was like, really? And they're like, yeah, I'd love one. We go to this beach house on the weekends, and my wife loves that place, and I'd love to surprise her with a piece. So it all kind of stemmed from there, and all of a sudden I was doing all this work on my art and cut my hours down and all that stuff to get these pieces done for everybody. So it worked out well. And then, and then I moved across to Australia, and then eventually started doing it again. So.
And you're still a stylist in Australia as well, right?
Yeah.
And so, do you find yourself doing more painting than styling, or is it 50?
I'd say 50-50.
Nice.
But to get this body of work done, because you still got to make the money when you're preparing for an exhibition. So I don't think I've worked so hard in my life to get all of this stuff done.
How long did it take?
Well, it took me 2 years to get this done. And so obviously, we all kind of flews about in the first 4 months going, oh yeah, I'll give myself this much time to do it. And then all of a sudden I realized what I'd got myself into with detail and train stations and things. So I would I'd basically have Wednesday and Thursday off to do my art, and the rest of the time I'd work in salon and then paint. And then I'd also DJ as well at night. So I'm getting pretty good at running off no sleep, especially being here now.
I'm sure in Brooklyn, New York can't be good for that.
Oh, no.
Just trying to sleep. We don't sleep here. No sleeping happening. Sleep, where they do that at? Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
So just, because I do want to give people a chance. I have like so many questions for you, but we definitely want to give people a chance in the audience to ask questions. But just telling us a little bit more about kind of what made you want to come to Brooklyn. Like, you could have easily, I'm sure you could have sold these pieces, maybe even more, almost even more coveted, because it's, it's depicting a place so far away in Australia and New Zealand, and one of the gallery shows that galleries you've shown that before. Why was it important for you to come back here to show the work for the first time? Your parents hadn't even seen the work before they came here, right?
Because, like I said, I really wanted to come back here again, and a lot of people say, oh, you go to New York, it just really grabs you. And the main reason being is, like I said to you before, I feel like people really connect with scenes when it's from their home.
Mm-hmm.
And I really wanted to do that and have other people experience it and appreciate my work in that way. And I had like just a little showing at home beforehand with all my Australian friends, and they really love it because they're like, you know, the street views and the street art and that kind of feel of everything. But it was amazing coming over here, and that was so special to me when people were coming up to me, and just the train stories and also the river, and how they really do connect with the work, and that's the one thing I
This piece
wanted.
right here has
Yeah,
a lot of people must
exactly.
love this one. This is a
Yes.
neighborhood
Yeah.
jewel.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, and that's what's special to me is giving people that feeling, you know, of appreciation for places, and going, oh yeah, this is my, you know, my ground, this is where I'm from.
Yeah. A sense of pride.
Yeah,
right?
and it's also, I guess, like, life's so boring if you don't try and step outside your comfort zone. And like, I won't lie to you, it's like scared the crap out of me doing this. I was like at times going, what are you doing? And you're really putting your soul out there, and you're just vulnerable in a place that you're not even from. So it's kind of like stepping into the unknown when you're like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna fly over halfway across the world, and like paintings are going there too. Yeah, and yeah. So, but I'm really, really glad I did it.
That's awesome.
It, like I said, it would be really unfulfilling if I didn't.
You know what? I do have another question. So almost every answer you had, you know, talked about people. And you don't have a single person in any of your paintings. Why? Why is that? And tell us what's the significance of that.
It goes back to being able to appreciate that spot, because especially here, there are a lot of people wandering around everywhere, and you know, it can be overwhelming sometimes. And I just, when I paint pieces in particular, I want you to just appreciate it for what that scene is, without, you know, people bumping into you and you know, all that stuff. So it really just, it sucks you into that zone. And I feel it's like that whole thing I was saying, you can create your own little world when you're painting. So
your own version of paradise, right?
but yes, exactly. But you know, I'll never say never. There are definitely some pieces I'd like to do because I like the movement of people. So I imagine if I was to, you know, do a picture with people in it, they'd be blurred and have movement, and you know, especially
like one of your parties, you're DJing or something.
Yeah.
With bricks.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, awesome. Well, I had a list, both written and digital, but we'll actually open the floor up for questions, and I'm sure people will have questions. So,
in what he was usually doing work on canvas.
Yeah. So my last pieces have all been in canvas.
Right.
And I did one painting though for B for his birthday, and that was on wood. And it all started from there. But I do really love the textures in wood as well.
But does it take longer to dry on the wood than it does on canvas?
Not really, because the wood can suck the
Absorb.
oil in.
Right.
So you have to be really careful in doing that, because what I've used is ply, so I had to set it properly, make sure it is treated,
Right.
make sure I prime the area properly so it doesn't start buckling.
Right.
And even coming over here, which was another risk, is climate change, because New York's climate is different to
Right.
Australia. So I had to be very wary of that.
Right.
Because they could have busted apart if I didn't frame them. And yeah. But I thought it was really, for me, the wood is important, and I was like, I've got to do this. There's got to be a way, and keeping it light as well. That was really hard too. Don't want this big heavy thing on your wall either. So.
And also now, since you did a piece on that truck, are you considered a street artist?
No, of course not. I'm no street artist.
Any other questions?
Someone has another question about those. Yes.
I've got a question. You're such a creative person. What's next?
Oh, that's a good question.
Is
I'm
there
definitely
anything
not.
else you can take on? You're painting your music and your work, which is creative. Are you going to push yourself with other painting techniques, or will you push yourself with something else creative in differently?
Some other endeavors.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever stop painting. It's just my thing. I'd feel weird if I didn't do it. It's like I get withdrawals. So if anything, I'll just start painting again and see where it can take me in that way, because a lot of people have also been encouraging me. They're like, you just gotta keep going, don't stop painting, which I will do, and I've already been walking around the city taking all these cool new shots, and because the summer's different in New York as well. And he was talking to me about this chicken shop down the road, and I took some photos of that, because it's stuff like that I really love, and I thought, oh, it looks so cool at night, and people probably go there after having a massive drinking session, and they're like, I need some chicken now, or stuff in there. So yeah, I'd love to do some, maybe some more night scenes, and get talking to people, and find all these other little, places that people love. So, yeah.
Gentlemen, ready?
Do you think you're going to stick with landscapes, or will you divulge into maybe doing some portraits, or no plans to draw any painting people yet?
People have asked me a lot if I can do portraits, and I can give it a go, but I don't know. I don't know how the portrait would come out, but I'd like to actually give it a go. But always probably landscape, sky, that's my thing. Whether or not I kind of start loosening up areas, because I like to animate my pieces slightly, so whether I start animating them a little more, I've been thinking, but I'm definitely going to have a play around.
And where do you paint? Do you paint you separate your living and the studio space, or do you get a home studio space?
Yeah, so I've got downstairs, I've got a garage, so set up a garage down there, which is really cool. So all I need is
All your cut up business cards and
my
things.
business cards.
2 things to stage.
Two things to say.
Yeah, and
You sound like you have a very interesting studio setup.
Yeah.
It's a great process.
Yeah. It's
Any other
mistakes.
questions?
So what about the music that you listen to when you're painting? What sort of stuff?
So I mainly listen, and that's another reason why I like, Brooklyn is, I love all the hip hop from here. So, a lot of that, and I love the lyrics. Like sometimes when you feel like you're not allowed to swear on this
Yeah, you can.
but like sometimes
Swearing
when you
is
just feel
definitely
like
okay.
you're like like busting your ass, and you listen to these guys too.
I don't
and they're
even think
like
that's a
doing
curse.
it tough.
It's not in Brooklyn.
It's really like
It's an animal.
yeah, it's just so good to listen to, and some stuff's so heavy, and people find it really surprising that I listen to that kind of stuff. But for me, it's just like so amazing, got so much emotion, and like the like production of it and the samples they use, because I also love soul and old school rock, and I love a bit of everything. So yeah, that's what I like listening to.
Could you tell us a bit more about the birds and how you choose them and what they symbolise?
Yes, so bird symbolizes the question, what sets you free? And that kind of came up because that's what my art does for me. It sets me free, and it's actually a really important symbol because there was a period in my life where I was battling a little bit, and I didn't really feel free, and I just felt like I was kind of claustrophobic in my own body, and I needed to have some purpose in my life, and so that's why I started painting, and to me the bird is a symbol of freedom, and so that's how that all came about. And I like that the birds look quite unusual on the piece and they pop out, but that's exactly what they're meant to do. They're meant for you to look at it and go, what is that random bird doing here?
It's funny though, some of them tend to blend in a little more than others, and some of them, like you said, they'll kind of pop out on you. Like this one, you know, that is the graffiti on the building. That's a very like smooth, like a very kind of slick way to incorporate the bird. Or versus, you know, for some reason this bird in Roll the Dice, it almost like feels like it belongs there. Like oh yeah, that bird was flying by when you took this. You know.
Yeah, so, but the way I put them on there, I do look at the piece and I decide whether I want the bird to dribble or whether I want it to look clean, or because I still like, I don't want it to look terrible on the painting either. Like it's part of that freedom, and sometimes I like this one's worn into the sidewalk, so you know it's still there, but it's also part of that painting. And I know at that place that bird would be worn into the concrete.
Oh yeah, like that's good. All the people there, right?
Yeah.
So one other question, because I do think we have to enhance signals over here. You have, if I have this correctly, that is the Twin Towers in that piece.
It's not.
It's not. What is that supposed to be?
That's looking towards Jersey.
And that's the World Financial Center?
So if you go to the cloisters and the cross, there are two buildings there that are the same height as each other. But everybody keeps asking me that.
You know, it was funny because we were like, you know, it's New York City. You see two towers together. You're like, World Trade Center. And then you had the bridge, and it was like, oh, okay, this must be downtown Manhattan. So that just tells you New York is, we're not in the cloisters that heavy.
It's so that place is cool though.
No, it's super cool. It is super cool
so
up there.
Cool.
But okay, so that's, okay. That makes a lot more sense. Because I was like, well, I don't think she had been here when they were still alive. Okay. Well, listen, everyone, thank you so much for joining us for Art Talk, and you can hear us again on For Real Radio and online on bishoponbedford.com for Art Talk Tuesdays, every Tuesday from 2 to 4. You can catch myself and Alishia Falleni talking about her hit show here in Brooklyn, A Version of Paradise. Thank you for joining us.